Siemens Farms is a poultry egg farm located in Rosemont, Manitoba. We have 24,000 laying hens and 13,000 pullets, which are a term for birds from a baby chick until they lay their first egg.
Hey guys, my name is Harley Siemens. I'm one of the owners here at Siemens Farms. Come on inside, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what we do here on a daily basis. Let's go. When we come inside our barn, the first thing we want to do is change our shoes. We want to make sure that we're not bringing anything from outside into our barn to harm our hens. This is called biosecurity practices. The next step is we want to make sure that our clothes are good for going inside the barn. So what we do is we issue out these biosecurity suits that I'm going to go put on to make sure that we're good to go inside of our barn. We're now all suited up, ready to go into the biosecure area. As you can see, this yellow sign here says biosecurity in effect. We meet all the guidelines. We can now enter the farm. Come on. The first thing that you guys are seeing here, this is our packing room. This is where we're gonna pack all of the eggs. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna have all the eggs from all the conveyors come in here to the packer. So we have two barns here on our farm that are consisting of layer hens. The layer hens are the type of hens that are just for laying eggs, okay? They start laying eggs at 19 weeks old. And those birds are gonna lay one egg a day for their life. And it's our job every morning to come in here and gather those eggs. This machine here will grab all the eggs, and these eggs are gonna go into these rows here. These rows are gonna slowly pack all the eggs, and it's gonna put it into a tray. As you see over here, those trays will go onto the conveyor belt where we can nicely stack them. Once all the eggs are gathered, we want to store them into our cooler room. Our cooler room is the most important spot on our farm because that's where we're going to store all the food product. We are certified by CFIA, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and it's very important to keep this cooler between 10 to 13 degrees because we want to make sure when you guys get those eggs in the stores that those eggs are fresh and they are at the supreme quality. So come and take a look. These pallets are totally full. They have 900 dozen eggs on that one pallet. These pallets are gathered by us and they're picked up twice a week. Every Monday and every Friday, we will have a driver come. He picks up these eggs and he brings them to a grading station. At the grading station, those eggs will get lightly washed, they'll get weighed, and then they will get distributed to you guys at the stores. They'll be at grocery stores, they'll go to restaurants, all different types of places across Manitoba. And a really cool fact is there's 170 egg farmers like myself across Manitoba, and all our eggs that you guys eat in Manitoba are only from Manitoba egg farmers, nowhere else in the world. And here's our mechanical room. So I like to call this the brains of our operation. So as you can see to here on your right hand side, this is our water system. Our water system is very accurate. We want to make sure that those birds are given the best quality water so they can produce us good eggs and also keep them healthy. What happens is the water comes in and we meter it. So we know exactly how many liters that those birds are drinking a day. Do you want to guess how many liters a bird drinks a day? They drink 140 milliliters every single day. On our farm, we go through 7,000 liters of water every day to feed our birds. The water comes in, it gets filtered to make sure it's nice and clean, and then it goes off to the birds inside the barn. Over here you can see our heating system. This is all for in-floor heat. We want to make sure these birds stay nice and warm, of course, in winter time. So there's special pipes in the floor to heat it so that the birds stay nice and warm and that they don't get too cold in winter time. Over here is our Maximus controller. So this is like our computer. The computer runs the whole entire operation. So as you can see here, it is just a touchscreen like an iPad. You can see it gives me all these different options and different things that are running on our farm. You can see here it says chimney 1 in room 1, that fan is running. It is running at 76%. It is drawing 1 amp of electrical current, and it is open at 69%. This controller here controls everything. It takes into account what the temperature is outside, what's the temperature inside the barn, and what is the desired temperature that we would like to have. This machine then will let in X amount of air or heat the air by that amount to make sure that those birds are kept nice and warm and nice and safe. Also, this controller is going to adjust their lights. It's going to have a sunset mode and a sunrise mode so that in the morning it slowly brings the lights up just like a sunrise, what we're used to. And at nighttime it's a sunset mode, slowly dims the lights so they can nicely go to sleep. This machine is also made to monitor. So what it will do is, depending on how much feed that the girls eat every single day, it will send me a report saying these birds ate this amount of feed. Because all of the feed, they're on big bins, they're all scaled, so we know exactly the amount of food that they are taking in every day. And this system is going to track all of that. So what another really cool feature is that this system here can be accessed on my phone, on my iPad, on my laptop, wherever I am in the world. I can monitor what's going wrong on my farm or what's going right. If something goes wrong, this thing will call us, it will send us a text and an email and give us an alarm saying something is wrong, we need to come fix it. We're gonna go look inside of the barn right now. As we go there, I thought I'd share a few fun facts with you guys. So, did you know that white chickens lay white eggs and brown chickens lay brown eggs? What it actually has to do with is the color of their skin. The color of their skin shows by their earlobe. Depending on the color of that earlobe will tell me what type of shell color that hen is gonna lay. But they are nutritionally the exact same because whatever we feed the birds, that's what they put into their eggs. Also, in our farm here, we only have female chickens. A male chicken, rooster, they don't lay any eggs. So it doesn't help us here on the farm. So all these chickens we're about to see, they are all female. We're about to go inside the barn, and again, we have to follow a couple more biosecurity measures. Every time I go into one of my barns, I change my shoes once again. We're about to go inside the barn. These are these birds' homes, so we want to be respectful of their home and make sure that we're not going to startle them by anything. That's why on our farm we like to wear the color blue. We wear blue because they get used to that and they know when we come in that that's a familiar color and a familiar person, so they don't get startled. So let's go inside. So as you can see, there's a lot of chickens here behind you. These birds are only 23 weeks old. They're pretty new. You can see they look really, really good. These birds in here, we have about 11,500 just in this barn. On my whole entire farm, we have about 25,000 hens. They all lay eggs for you guys. So, you want to come a little bit closer here. As we enter where they are, you can see they nicely move for me. They're not going to be startled, but they get used to you, and that's why they're not going to freak out. So these birds here are in an aviary free-run system. In Manitoba, there's 4 different types of systems. There's a conventional system, an enriched system, free run, and free range. A conventional system is the older type of system that has the birds in enclosed measures, and that's where they stay for most of their life. They have fresh access to feed and water, and also they have manure removal so that they don't get dirty and they stay nice and clean. Then you have the enriched style system. The enriched style system is a bigger system than the conventional. They have perch space, they'll have drinkers and water and all that good stuff, same as feed. They even have scratch pads for them to scratch on and nest boxes for them to go lay their eggs in. That's also an enclosed counter, and that's a newer system that a lot of farmers are going to. The free run system, which we are in now, allows the birds to be free and roam around inside the barn. As you can probably see behind me, there'll be birds flying up and down on top of this system. A couple cool things about this system is you have these curtains here. These curtains are for their nesting box. Right now, the nests are closed, so the birds aren't allowed to go in there. But in the morning when they wake up, these nests open up and the birds go in there to lay their eggs. That allows us to gather them. You can see the birds are allowed to free roam on the floor. They love to scratch and they love to lie down and dust bathe. You'll see they like to fly back up because in the system is where their feed is. You can see this is the feed line here, and in here is going to be different feed for them to eat. On top here, we got their water. All they do is they peck the water, and you can see it's nice and wet. They have access to that all the time. What the birds really like to do is we call perch. So if you look up on top there, on this bar here, you'll see a couple of birds are sitting on there. They perch on there, and that's where they like to sleep. So at nighttime, we've trained all these birds to jump up onto the system off the floor and perch. So that in the morning when they wake up, they're close to the nest box, and that's when they go and lay their eggs. The other type of system that we have here in Manitoba is called free range. Free range means that the birds are allowed to go outside, of course, weather permitting. When it's cold outside, rainy, windy, they're not going to let those birds outside because we want to make sure that they stay safe and healthy and that they don't get harmed. The inside of those barns looks similar to this, but they'll have little doors on the outside to allow those birds to go outside. And then they have a green space area where they can peck in the grass, and then they come in at night. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. I hope you learned something, and eat eggs. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody, want to welcome you here inside my home. I just took you through a tour through my barn. We got to learn many things about how I raise my hens here on our farm, what they're fed, how we produce those eggs that you guys love so much. So here now inside my house, we're going to show you how we can make one of our favorite staple foods here at my house, which is our crepes. So you can see beside me here, we got all the ingredients. Thanks to my lovely wife for helping me getting this all set up. And we're going to try and go through these instructions and going to make some very yummy crepes. So first things first, I want to thank all the grain farmers out there that are going to help us in getting us some flour. So we're going to take 1 cup of flour. Make sure you guys have a nice big bowl in front of you. We're going to do some mixing. Gonna pat it down nicely. Gonna add the 1 cup of flour. After that, we got some sugar from the sugar farmers. And then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2. Perfect. And we're gonna add a pinch of salt. So I like to put just a little bit on my palm and dab it in there. Perfect. The next thing after that is we're gonna put in some eggs. So as you see here, I got some 2 brown eggs. So a cool story about that is, like I've said, is brown eggs come from brown hens and white eggs come from white hens. On our farm, we have a couple of brown birds in our system, so I decided today to use those eggs. So I'm gonna crack the egg open, put the egg into the mix. So if my camera person's gonna come nice and close, you can see these eggs in here. You can see they're nice and fresh. You can see how nice and firm that yolk is. I can actually move it around quite a bit and it's still not gonna break. That tells me that that egg is really fresh. You can see this little part right here, this little bungee cord type thing. They call that the chalasse. What that does is inside that egg, it holds that yolk nice and firm in the middle. So when you shake the egg, it's not gonna fall apart. So we're gonna add 2 of those eggs. You can also see how these yolks are very orange. The reason why they're orange is because they're fed a vegetarian diet and they're also free run. So that really makes that yolk really dark orange because they're fed different type of nutrients to color that yolk. Because whatever we feed them, they put that into their egg. Okay? After that, I'm gonna wipe my hands here first. After that, we're gonna add some milk. I wanna thank the dairy farmers for that. We're gonna add 125 mLs of milk. Just a little bit there. We're gonna add it to the baking here. Awesome. Okay, now we are gonna add some vanilla. We got some good vanilla here. We're gonna add half a teaspoon of vanilla. Perfect. Put that off to the side there. Okay. I'm gonna whisk it up a little bit here. Usually put it just on medium speed. Put everything nicely together here. If you're doing this at home with your parents, make sure you're not gonna make too much of a mess, but it is fun. So we're gonna mix this all up until I see it's nice and even. Not too much clumps, anything like that. Oh, yeah, these are gonna taste real good. Perfect. Okay. Shut that off for a second so you can see it's fairly even there. Now we are going to actually melt some butter to add some butter and the rest of the milk. So for you guys at home that are going to be making this, I like to do 1 tablespoon of butter. Put it in the microwave for about 25 seconds, 20-25 seconds. Have it nice and melted. Quick fact while we're waiting for the butter. Did you guys know that a chicken is going to lay 340 eggs a year? If you think about that, that's almost 1 egg a day. So that's a lot of eggs, and we want to thank you guys all for having Egg Farmers eggs. So you can hear the butter is done. It's nice and melted. We're going to add it here to the mix. Then we're going to add the remaining amount of milk. There we go. Perfect. It's about 1 cup of milk. We'll add to the rest. And we're going to mix it all up nice. So again, about medium speed. Make sure that this batter is going to stay nice and thin. It's the main thing about crepes. We don't want any lumps in our crepes. Perfect. Almost there. There we go. Okay, awesome. Now we're gonna take the batter, we're gonna come over here to the stove top. We're gonna turn the stove top on to about a medium. We don't want it too hot, we don't want to burn the crepes. We're gonna take some cooking spray, spray the pan so nothing's gonna stick. Now the pan is nice and hot, we've added our cooking spray, we're ready to make the crepes. So this is where the art comes in. We have our ladle here, we're gonna fill it up. We're gonna take the pan and we're gonna add to it. We're gonna spin it all the way around to make a perfect circle, or at least try. I don't have one of those fancy ladles that are spinnings that they do that you can see at some of the restaurants. But we're gonna let this get nice and warm. Once you can see the bubbles coming up, and then we know it's really well cooked. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it. I like to flip it up in the air. We're gonna try. Those at home, if I'm gonna do this, please be safe while you're doing that. We wanna make sure that nobody is harmed while you are making crepes. That is not fun. So we'll get nice and loose. Awesome. Perfect. Just about there. Loosen them up. Perfect. I'm gonna do a simple flip. Awesome. We get the other side. Nice and cooked. Hold it for maybe about 5 to 10 seconds, something like that. Then you're gonna add it to your pan. Like that. Get a nice neat crepe there. Perfect. Not perfectly round, but make sure that if you want, you can put some tin foil over it, keep it nice and warm. In the meantime, we can make another one here. See if I can make it even a better circle here. Add it around. Perfect. Yeah, and the batter that we made here, on average, it's gonna make around 14 crepes. If you need to make more, very simple, just double your recipe. I'm sure all you guys know how to do that, and different things like that. So yeah, we're gonna have this cook. After it's nicely made, there's a couple different options you can have to eat with it. You can put some fresh strawberries, some blueberry sauce, some raspberries. What we like to do here is we like to butter it up on the inside, and then we add a little bit of sugar, and then we roll it up, and then we like to add syrup to it. I know my 2 little girls, they like to eat them actually just plain. We pull it all, well, my oldest likes to have a little bit of syrup on it. My youngest, we just rip it up for her, and she can sure eat a lot of crepes. So make sure it's nice and loose. If you find that they're sticking a lot, you can also add a little more cooking spray to your pan. Flip it again. Perfect. There, that's a much better crepe than my first one even. Awesome, for a couple of seconds. Let it sit. And then we're gonna add it back to the plate. Perfect. I'll add it. There you go. Want to thank you guys for joining me here in our kitchen to learn how to make some crepes. Please follow the next video where we're going to have a few question and answers about some egg farming. Thank you so much.